Okay. Hi, Pomona.
Welcome to today's session. Good afternoon. It's called Embracing Where EdTech, Libraries, Cultural Responsiveness, Equity, and Future Ready Meet. Our presenters today are Kelli Van Velkinburgh, Teacher Librarian and Curriculum Program Specialist for the Colton Joint Unified School District in the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools area, and Nyree Clark, also Curriculum Program Specialist, and I read EdTech PK to 6, Colton Joint Unified School District. Thank you all.
Thank
We're
you
looking
so
forward
much.
to your presentation.
All right, welcome. We are so happy that you are here with us today. We're going to have an opportunity to spend some time talking about and embracing culturally responsive teaching and how that looks in the library, as well as leadership and PLNs. On your screen, you should be seeing our Google site. That bit.ly right there in the middle will take you to this site. And we plan to be running through Nearpod today. You can join right here. If you don't feel like joining the Nearpod, just follow along right here, or it will be up on your screen. But if you would like to join us in Nearpod, that'd be fantastic. And if you tap right there, you will get it. Nyree has already dropped it in the chat about 6 times. So we are all ready to go. My name is Kelli. So happy to be here with my great friend and teammate, Nyree. Nyree?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Yes, Kelli will tell you I am the link dropper. So I am just putting that link in there for you. What's amazing about this link is we've built everything on this page for you. So when you have this link, you have all of us. Okay, so get connected. I'll drop it one more time.
How's everyone doing? Good? Are you finding your way there? Just let us know if you're having any troubles. So I'm going to pop on over now to the Nearpod. And move all of the chats and everything out of the way. All right, so as I said, we're going to talk about collaborative partnerships, diversity, equity in both collections and spaces, and your community and personal learning network, as well as leading from where you are. And Nyree's going to get us started with a little culturally responsive teaching.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So culturally responsive teaching, what does that mean to you? We are going to look at what culturally responsive teaching looks like in for teachers, for educators, as well as what that's going to look like for our library staff. Before we go into that, I would love to share this graphic with you all from Zaretta Hammond. So she actually has created equity, like 3 distinctions of equity, because people they may get multicultural, social justice, and culturally responsive teaching a little confused. So I want to kind of give you her version of where these distinctions are. And I love how clear it is. So when we're looking at multicultural education, that is really centered on looking at diversity. It concerns itself with allowing students to see their privilege and how their privileges are different in different perspectives. When we look at social justice, this is where students are able to see they become more socially aware. Where are those inequities? Where can they make a difference in the systems that they are existing in? The focus is really on social context. But then when we look at culturally responsive teaching, this is actually centered in academic growth. So how can we provide equity and access to all of our students to increase academic growth. And one way is through linking our cultures, linking students' experiences with learning, with content that you're teaching to increase the rigor. So you'll notice multiculturalism, not focused on academic growth, social justice, not focused on academic growth. Culturally responsive teaching is focused on academic growth. So here again, just a little review. Culturally responsive teaching is the practice and pedagogy. So I don't want you to think of a list of packets that we can give you or worksheets that we can give you, and then you're culturally responsive. It is a pedagogy, it is a mindset that teachers and educators will put that lens on, where they are actively looking at students' language, their personal experiences, their culture, to draw those experiences in and connect it to content to help them make learning sticky and to give them that basis and foundation to increase their critical thinking skills, as well as the learning that they're doing in class. So looking at culturally responsive teaching, we can look at CRT in multiple ways. So if I'm looking as a teacher, I'm looking at my awareness. What culture am I bringing into that environment? How am I creating learning partnerships with my students? So this goes beyond, I know my student, their name, their favorite hobby, like really getting into that deep culture, as Zaretta Hammond speaks, where you know their belief systems, you know what makes them tick. And then you're able to draw that and connect it to the learning goals that they have. Digging out knowledge. What are the critical thinking skills that we are giving our students that will allow them to experience high levels of critical thinking, as well as the systems and structures? So we talked about that, allowing students to understand where they fit into the school environment. Where do they fit when they're at their home environment, and how they are best able to prosper and thrive in those systems that they're in. As a student, when I think of culturally responsive teaching, I think about all students come to school knowing stuff. All of our students that are at home right now, they know things, they're learning things. So it is up to us to take that information, that knowledge, and then connect it to what we want to teach them. Learning styles. How do they learn best? Different students like to learn in a group, collectivism. They like to learn by themselves, individualism. How are we creating opportunities for both of those to coexist? Again, critical thinking skills. That is not just for our higher achieving students, that's for all students. So we want to make sure that all of our students have access to those critical thinking skills, as well as tapping into their social emotional learning. During this time, in remote learning, not only are our students need to be tapped into that social emotional check-in, teachers as well, library media staff as well, all of us, all humans need that social emotional check-in. And then let's talk about CRT in the libraries. That is looking at diverse collections. How are we bringing in books that show the diversity of the community that you serve? Are we picking books that show students thriving, showing different representations where they are critical thinkers, where they are positive, also humanizing our students and being able to really show that all students are thinkers and problem solvers and can thrive in that situation. Books that show mirrors, windows, and doors. Are we allowing opportunities for kids to see themselves and then make connections in text? So here we have a quick collaborative board for us. Describe what culturally responsive teaching looks like in a library or a classroom. What does that mean to you? At the very bottom, you're going to see that white rectangle. You can type your answers in that white rectangle, and you can also post a picture, or you can add a picture, and then after you type, you'll see the blue word that says post will become lit, and then you can post it. So we'll give you a few seconds to do that.
Right, so if you are not in the Nearpod, but you still would like to post to this board, I've dropped a link in the chat and it should take you straight to the board.
I love that. Stories of joy. Absolutely. Where are our students being able to see joy in what they're learning and how they look and what experiences they have? Can we start with pictures of joy for all of our students? You'll also notice at the very bottom, there's a little heart. So if you like a comment that someone has posted, you can click that heart and just to get some feedback for each other. Striving to know our students in a holistic way and honoring their interest in resources and learning opportunities. Absolutely. All voices are heard and encouraged to participate. Absolutely. I love that encouraged to participate. We want to hear your voice. We want to honor all of our students and providing different opportunities for them, just like this Collaborate board. Maybe some people do not want to voice their opinion, but they're comfortable writing it out. So that gives you an opportunity to hear everyone. Students as experts on their own knowledge and experiences. Absolutely. My favorite coaching experiences are when students teach me how to use the tech. Absolutely. They always bring something that I hadn't even looked at. We'll give you 1 second to add any last thoughts before we move on. Okay.
All right, so we also want to talk today about how we are all in this together and the impact that working as a team in multiple roles can have. So, what do we all have in common? Teacher librarians, classified library professionals, ed tech specialists, instructional coaches, curriculum specialists, IT professionals. What do we all have in common is that we are all here for the students, and keeping that mindset can help us develop those collaborative relationships that give our students everything that they deserve. And we want to take a moment just to acknowledge the frameworks from Future Ready. We look at the Future Ready frameworks, the Model School Library Standards, the AASL standards. And when we compare them, these frameworks, there is a lot of overlap between instructional coaches and teacher librarians. And we know that in some districts, they are working hand in hand, they're working side by side. And in some districts, there's been some acrimonious type of relationships. And we're here to hopefully get us all to take one step further towards those collaborative partnerships. Focusing on curriculum and instruction and personalizing student learning and offering professional development. If you want to look a little further, these links down here take you directly to those frameworks and the things that we all do, and it's highlighted to kind of show that overlap. Whereas instead of working in silos, we could be working to support each other. So we have a little activity for you. It's a drawing activity. And we'd like you to take a look at the learning partnerships that are happening in your school and in your district. And go ahead and circle the role that you have. If your role is not listed, go ahead and write it in there. And then draw some lines to the other roles where you feel like you have a good partnership. Then go ahead and add some pluses next to those spots where you feel like you'd like to work a little bit more on deepening that relationship. Maybe a minute or so to do that.
And if you haven't used Nearpod before, when you are in this view, you will see on the left side, there's a little blue rectangle with an arrow. If you click on that blue rectangle or arrow, it will raise those directions up, and then you'll have more space to see the circles there. So that can be clicked on or off on the left side of your screen.
And in Nearpod, I'm going ahead and I'm projecting the teacher screen this whole time. We've hidden the student names or the participant names so everyone can feel comfortable. I can't even see them right now. I can go back later and look at it. But so feel free to be super honest there. In Nearpod, you do have an option of projecting the student view as well and putting the teacher view on another tab, the same way that you do in, or similar to you do in Pear Deck. Okay, I'm seeing some come in.
For people that haven't used Nearpod before, we wanted to be able to show you the power of seeing the feedback in real time. So as you're watching, you can see the students that have submitted, you can see the students that are still working, and you can already get an idea of where their thinking is. So as you are progressing through, you can make those adjustments and have that conversation. So we can see directly, and everyone else can see where those where the collaborations are and where we could move and deepen those as well.
So here we see a teacher librarian with no classified library staff at their school, has good relationships with the teachers, hoping to work better with the edtech coaches. If anyone wants to pop into the chat or wants to speak out loud to any of this, please just let us know.
I'm wondering, what are some of your collaborations, like someone that you're collaborating with at in your school systems that has been really impactful, and especially during remote times? Does anyone have something they'd like to share with that? That would be awesome for the group. Kay, can you share about your arts pathway lead? What does that mean for people that might not know what pathways are?
Do you want me to just talk, Nyree?
I certainly do. It's two. It's two. We're like party at the last session.
Awesome. So our arts pathway lead this year, it's one of our pathways that we have on campus. We've got three. We've got an engineering and a medical. She is new to the position, but not to the position of lead, but not to teaching or in our site. And one of the issues in our arts pathway is that the arts kids are different. They do not play the academic game the way many students are capable of doing. And our pathway is in danger of being shut down because our juniors and seniors are having to drop the pathway due to not having enough credits to graduate. So they're not able to fulfill the pathway requirements. So her goal has been to change things this year. And she has brought me on as a kind of like, let's teach them how to use tech. But she and I have had really good conversations because it's not just about the tech. I have worked really closely with her to be like, let's think about what they would do as artists and show how the skills they already have can help them with the tech be successful in the academic game. So it's been really cool. She's a powerhouse.
She absolutely is, Kate. I know exactly who you're talking about. And what a great collaborative person she is, and you are.
And within that collaboration, you can see the power that these students are going to be able to experience from having those extra layers, that extra collaboration with the teacher librarian and that art teacher, as opposed to working in silos. I mean, we can do it, but why? When we can join together and deepen what we're doing for our kids, like that's the bottom line, what's best for kids. And then we move in that direction. So thank you so much for sharing. Kate, Emily, I've been sharing curriculum and literacy lessons by volunteering to make advisory homeroom classes for the entire school. I collaborate with other teachers about different themes, the Mars Landing Exec, and our student support team to incorporate SEL. So, wow, that's another powerful collaboration. Thank you so much for sharing, Emily.
And up on the screen, I have someone's drawing, and they added other librarians, which is great. Reaching out to other librarians or other classified library staff, or both, because as we know, oftentimes you are the only one on your campus who does what you do. And actually the same thing with edtech coaches and instructional coaches. They're oftentimes one of the few people on their site, in their building, or in their district that do what they do. So thank you very much. I am noticing a little bit of a theme here, and I'm gonna go through these. Are any of you noticing anything?
I see a theme of collaboration. What are you seeing? Oh, Amelia. Kelly, are you seeing the same thing Amelia is seeing?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like in a lot of places that's a little bit of a sad reality going on there. All right.
So for people that may not be in the chat, Amelia put edtech not included in mini. How are we not using and making reference of everyone, like all of our resources? I see the power in that deep collaboration. I don't know everything, but guess what? When I work with Kate, when I work with Kelly, when I work with other members and other entities within my district, my students thrive because they get all of that. So thank you all so much for sharing.
Yeah, if you haven't hit the, I think it's blue today. Yep, blue. The blue submit button, go ahead and do that so it gets cemented in here for us. And then I'm going to click away. And in my experience, a lot of the reasons why those two groups are not working together as much as they are in some other places is sort of the way that it was implemented from the start. All right. So we wanted to share a little bit about our path because we feel like we're doing pretty good job in our district. Always room for improvement, but I feel like we got off to a pretty good start when we brought in the position of instructional coaches and ed tech coaches. And so how we got here, I was a teacher librarian working at 3 sites. We were missing our middle school teacher librarians due to budget cuts. You know, back in 2009-10, we lost them. Nyree was a teacher on assignment before we took these positions that we're in now. And for me, when it was first created, I was encouraged to apply, but I felt like the work wasn't ready yet. I didn't want to leave until I was certain that I'd done enough advocating to get those other positions back. And then when I decided to come over here, I felt really strongly that a teacher librarian voice needed to get over to the district office in order to keep them there. So there were some tears leaving sites. I love the work I do here, but there is nothing better than being on a site with kids and teachers. We have a passion for literacy and for ed tech and for the way that those two things work together. And most importantly, a belief in the importance and the power of libraries on a school campus. Nyree.
Thank you. And I'm going to pick up where we are really driven to promote equity and access in all learning areas. And that is what we are committed to doing within our district and then personally. So Kelly, Kate, and I have been to workshops just ourselves empowering and working together to see what we can do better. EdTech, where we are now, we have EdTech and curriculum specialist coaches that partner together to support teacher librarians and support classified library staff. So depending on how your district supports those, it will look a little different, but how are we being equitable and making sure that all of those collaborations can happen to support our students. Library staff are members of district and EdTech Future Ready leadership groups. So we have in our district, we have committees that have all of those stakeholders involved together. So there is always that collaboration time, that time to plan and network together. And also providing teacher librarians as partners in PD. So I know as an EdTech coach, I've been able to partner with our elementary library media techs, where we provide PD together. There's where they can't push in, I can push in, and where they understand their resources, they can share that out. So we work together to provide those resources for students.
And I want to jump in there. When I was a teacher librarian at the middle school and high schools, and Nyree was a teacher on assignment specializing in reading and technology, we started working together, learning about the library resources and how she could use those to push in, and we'd have EdTech talks. And it really, I think, sparked her interest in the libraries and Destiny Discover and World Book and all of that. And then I always say this, I believe that Nyree is, besides being a phenomenal teacher, is also a librarian at heart.
I think you're right. Kelli gets me every time. We want to show you examples of what this can look like. So here you're going to see EdTech coach, so me, and here's an example of when I got to go and provide some tech support to our classified librarians. And what was so amazing about this is we actually had, you have different levels of tech, of course, right? But some of the participants had never been able to touch this device, or more importantly, did not see how that shifted or could connect to the content that teachers were using. So then from this one PD and just from the awareness of what could happen, now you have library media techs that are bringing in and layering on this technology, these Google expeditions, with the books that their students are using in the library, to have that as an option as a center as well. We also, in our district, we had the opportunity and huge privilege of having some future ready library grants. These were library grants where teachers were and school sites were able to submit their plans of how they could reimagine their library spaces. And these are two examples of schools that actually were awarded that grant. And I will tell you, I was at the elementary site, and it has literally changed the way that teachers are now doing their lessons. Now teachers, before, they would go in, check out books for AR and leave and bounce. You know how that goes. But now, because we were able to reimagine that library space, we were able to put in a maker space. We were able to put in a Chromebook cart where the kids could spread out. Teachers are actively going in, teaching a little mini lesson, and the kids just, they spread out, and they are actively all over that library and doing different things, and using the library as more of like that resource, like, oh, I need this, I can go get that. Absolutely. 3D printer as well. So students are coming to the library to create. They're not just consuming, they're coming to create. That's what I wanted to share. I got excited because it's so awesome. So awesome there. The shift.
One of the things about the library grant, I wasn't a huge fan of making people compete for these resources, because I felt like all of our libraries deserved to have the proper equipment and have a great space. But what it did was it shined a light on all of the libraries. It made administrators who had never thought of them before have to look at frameworks and standards and samples of great libraries and talk to people and collaborate with teacher librarians on what things could look like. And I think that that was one of the few sparks that we've had that have really pushed us forward.
I'm going to add on to that, Kelli, too. You can stay on this page, but I just want you all to know that as Kelli was saying that, the people that did not get the award for that library, guess what? They made shifts. It may not have been with all the money, but they started seeing where they could provide more equity for their students and their library. And so the administrators started looking at a plan of, like, maybe it's a 3-year plan. How can we get there even if we don't have that grant? So that is, like she said, that's a huge shift, because now those libraries are becoming more equitable across the district as those resources are finding their way in there. So in this picture, we want to show you what it looks like when you have librarians, ed tech coach, classroom teachers, co-planning, co-teaching. Again, you all know the power in that collaboration. We have in our other picture, librarians, classified library staff, ed tech coach, in a collaboration and in a training. You know, everyone, all of those partners are able to help to bring those resources to the teachers, and then all of those resources are going to the students. So we are making it so much deeper. The learning is becoming more complex and more deep when we are in collaboration with each other.
And an example of the ed tech specialist able to work with the IT department and library staff, collaborating on curating our digital resources, getting them into ClassLink, getting them working. And without that voice at the district, it's difficult for them to understand what all of these resources are. In fact, I gave them all of the databases and all of the school Destiny Discover links, and it was like, 50 things on a spreadsheet, and they're like, ooh, could you just do this for us? Because that's a lot and we don't understand all these passwords. So working together so that the staff on the sites and the teachers, they can get to all of these all of these fantastic resources quicker. And this isn't one thing they have to worry about. They get to work on using the resources with their students and their teachers.
This picture, this image right here just really touches my heart, because at a digital citizenship collaboration, we had all of these stakeholders in one place working together. So this is a district picture, but within this picture, if you follow those arrows, those blue arrows, those are your teacher librarians. So we see where they are in that picture, but layered in there is our classified library staff. So we don't have them separated. We're all in it together. And then you also see that added layer, the pink one, of our ed tech specialists. So within this digital citizenship lesson, it isn't just our teacher librarians trying to figure out DigCit. It's all of those stakeholders together working to figure out ways to increase our digital citizenship culture within our school district. And it takes all of us. It takes all of those stakeholders together to make it deep and rich for our students, because we all have different access points where we can get to those students and provide those resources. So I loved it. And we were able to make some big strides in ways that we could do better across the whole district by supporting each other in that area.
Yeah, we're fortunate at our secondary sites to have a teacher librarian and a library media tech to position at every site. And in secondary, when we took on digital citizenship as a district, we were like, our teacher librarians, that's their credential, that's their specialty. They're going to be the point people on the sites, and we're going to support them. So we have another Collaborate board here for you. And we wanted to get an opportunity to share some tips, ideas, or questions about partnering with those in other roles at your site or in your district. And I'll grab that link again and pop it into the chat in case you're not participating in Nearpod, but you would like to post a comment. And I'd love to hear that that's working or not working. That's, I think, a really great feature in Nearpod, sort of a simplified, controlled Padlet, but you can pull it out and just use the Collaborate board.
And if you haven't used Nearpod before, on those Collaborate boards, if you have a class that you're working on digital citizenship and you need to moderate that board, you can also moderate before they post, and make sure that it is appropriate for everyone to see if that is something that needs to happen in that particular setting. So again, at the very bottom, you have that white rectangle. You can write in the white rectangle. You can add an image if you'd like, but as soon as you start writing, then the word post will highlight in blue. You click on post when you're ready to share your thoughts. Oh, this is a great feedback. So realizing that your district ed tech coaches aren't here to take over your job, just like we want to take teaching, research, and information literacy off of our classroom teachers' plates, the ed tech coaches want to ditch, sit, and teach off of our plates as well. So working in collaboration with that, I love that. Yes, we're not here to take anybody's job, but think about how deep of a collaboration that is when you can work together to do both of those.
Yeah, both are unique roles where their sole purpose and only reason for being is to support teachers and students.
Ooh, I like this one. Our teacher librarians have a yearly PD in collaboration with our public library system. Ooh, I want to know where you're from. Nice. We have what Kelly, will you explain what we have offered at the, sometimes you have library resources at the county level.
Yes. So at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, also at Riverside County Office of Education, they both have networks that are for library staff, administrators, coaches, anyone involved at all in the library. And they are networks to get together, share resources, just be around people who do the same thing as you in the same region as you, bringing in speakers, opportunities to collaborate and to amplify the work that teachers do. So if you're not involved in any of those type of networks, I highly recommend that you get involved with them. They can be really strong allies.
I see in the chat, we have LAUSD has annual collaboration with YA librarians at LAPL. I also saw here, listen to teachers about what they need and consider how to meet those needs. Absolutely. I've noticed that within going to county networks, that there's lots of people that are there from different disciplines or different areas. So it's been a phenomenal place to network as well, to grow and to collaborate within the PLN.
Yeah, I saw some of the things that San Francisco is doing with their public libraries, and that's phenomenal. I know that Tennessee does a great deal together too. In San Bernardino County, the public library has a full staff professional learning day, and they shut down all of the libraries, and they include the school library staff in that. So for the first part of the day, you get to learn and collaborate alongside those public library staff. And then in the afternoon, sort of wrap up together as school library staff. If you haven't hit submit, go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna click away from here.
And I really appreciate you guys are adding your +1s to those hearts and just letting people know your feedback and what's resonating with you as well. So thank you for that. Oh, awesome.
Sort it by the likes here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So this is a great way if you happen to just be in class and you have your students giving each other feedback, you can click that and sort by links and you're off and running.
So We wanted to spend just a few moments. This has been a theme throughout this conference, and there have been fantastic sessions and excellent resources on equity and diversity in both collections and in spaces. So I invite you to think about what makes a collection diverse. And we're going to do a little activity with the chat. And go ahead and start to type in the chat, but don't hit enter. We're going to do something called a waterfall. And just little thought about, what do you think makes a collection diverse?
Excuse me, presenters.
Yes.
That's your 10-minute time check.
Thank you. Well, we're going to have to speed it up here. So I'm going to give you about 20 more seconds to think about this. And then when I say go ahead and hit enter on the chat. All right, go. Hopefully there's a waterfall.
We will take our babbling brook here.
This is great. Take a moment to look and see what other people have shared. Quote and comment if you like, but everyone can see themselves in your collection, various points of view, mirrors and windows.
I haven't heard of prisms, doors and prisms. What am I missing?
Can I speak?
Please speak.
So a prism is imagine yourself standing in a room holding a prism up to the light. If you're surrounded by people, everyone, the light is going to refract differently to everyone. So they're all going to see something differently. So when you hold up a book to a different kid, everyone's going to see them see something different in that book, because we all come from a different place. And it's like an article written by Uma Krishnaswamy about it. So yeah.
I think that's my favorite today.
Oh my gosh, Brandy, my heart is beating for you right now. Beating really strong. Thank you. Oh, Carol, yeah, go ahead, Kelly. I'm going to screenshot that.
Oh, okay. Am I okay?
No, yeah, it's in the chat.
Okay. So the basics of a diverse collection, and like Brandy said, it's the collections that's diverse, and the way that it impacts the student is very personal. And so we can take an educated guess about what a student may be interested in, but we can't know for sure how they're going to interact with those books and what it's going to mean to them. So for sure, we're including historically underrepresented groups, opportunities for students to see themselves, and also opportunities for them to experience stories of lives that differ from themselves. And we want to be very broad in our definition of diverse. Of course, it's racial and cultural, but it's also gender, it's also geography, socioeconomics, abilities, it's everything that makes a person who they are. It's their life experiences, the traumas that they may have had, and the joys that they may have. It's their personal interests, their family dynamic. So I invite you to really think very broadly about diversity. We've added just a few resources, and I know that this conference has been full of them. But on our site, one of the wakelets is developing diverse collections. These are a few of the things that if you don't have the time, or you're just getting started, or you need some go-tos, the Teaching Books Diverse Toolkit can really be beneficial. Follett Tidal Wave has a section on diversity. It's linked. These slides should take you out to those. We've put them all together in a wakelet for you called Developing Diverse Collections. Of course, School Library Journal. And we, if you haven't heard by now, this cover that's showing from the most recent one does have some, I don't know what to say, but the editor had to write an apology, and they're trying to make some amends and learn and grow, as we all are. Still, for collection development, school library journal, problematic. Thank you. There was an issue with the issue for sure. But still, collection development, it is an excellent resource for you.
And we're going to look at really quickly collaboration and PLNs. That's what we've been talking about, leading from where you are. So I love this quote by Robert Greenleaf, which says, "The servant as a leader must constantly ask, how can I use myself to serve best?" So one of the ways that we can serve best is by creating PLNs. This is 10 reasons why educators, anyone that works with kids, I'd say anyone that works needs a circle of support. And that's what a PLN is. It's a circle of support for you. And ways that you can grow your PLN. Sometimes you are just watching what's happening. Sometimes you are actively giving information, taking information. There's different levels, but grow. The whole purpose of a PLN is you get to personalize the focus area that you would like to work on for yourself. So you might have more than one PLN. I have an EdTech Coaches PLN. I have a PLN on CRT. I have a PLN on equity. And I might have a PLN on just being a mom and trying to keep it together. Like, you need those different circles and groups that are helping to see you thrive, challenge you, push you, but grow you. And you can support others as well.
Yeah, and Nyree and I like to talk about how leadership is a mindset and an action. It's not a position or a title. And saying we are leaders doesn't make us leaders. It's that action that we have, and everyone can lead from where they are, from wherever they are.
Thank you. And I just want you guys to know I am partly in this position because of that woman, Kelli, teaching me that along the way as a teacher. You're a leader. No, I'm not. I'm just a teacher. No. What you're doing is leadership. You are inspiring, you're helping others, you're lifting people up. And sometimes it takes someone else to help you see that leadership is not, you have to be an administrator, because that's what I thought, but it wasn't that. It was the actions of what you were doing. How are you inspiring others?
So as we wrap up, we just want to remind you that we have this website where we have parked all of our resources for you. If you tap in the middle of your screen, it will open that website. If you care to bookmark it, please feel free to. The main presentation will be there. Please use it as you like. The session resources are here. Nyree created a fantastic wakelet of everything that we talked about today and resources that we use. The Developing Diverse Collections wakelet is there for you. And our contact information is here. Nyree is phenomenal with PLNs, and her Twitter game is pretty phenomenal.
I collect people.
Back in the sort of getting started, developing, nourishing. I take a lot in. I'm in there. I learn so much. My voice going out is something that I need to work on. But Nyree's story of what the PLN has done for her personally is amazing.
It has just been phenomenal, everyone. I just want you to know that sometimes you may be in a place where you can't get nourishment at the site that you're at. And that PLN can help give you what you need to keep you strong. And that was something that I went through, being in a position that I wasn't able to grow, but the PLN from outside really helped to get me through until I was able to go somewhere else. So those those people will help you. And don't feel like it can't change. It should be just as fluid as everything else, because you're going to have different needs. And thank you to Julia for giving us the article that I put on the Wakelet. So the Wakelet has the Prisms article in it. So thank you for dropping that to us. We are so thankful for you being here, and we are definitely ready to take any questions that you all might have. Unmute, have at it.
Yeah, one
Yes,
thing I forgot to
unmute.
mention on the diversity real quick is that Kate Appleby and Brandy and their team, they did a phenomenal long session on diversity and diversity analysis in your collection. And we referenced them in our Wakelet as well. But the work they've done has been just excellent. So informative, so much opportunity to grow there. Please unmute and kick us out when we need to go.
Thank you for attending today, and thank you to our presenters on behalf of CSLA for this engaging, action-filled presentation. And I hope all of you will join us at the closing today with our president, Lisa Bishop, and our speaker, Delane Easton. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.